everyone, welcome back to White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I'm Wendy and I'm so happy you're here. My hair looked so much cuter in the mirror. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome, and I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button down below as well as the little bell right next to it so that you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. If you like these projects, don't forget to give them a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. Today I'll be doing 5 thrift flips using Dollar Tree items to make them beautiful and give them new life. And I'm so excited that today's video is in collaboration with my sweet friend Kristen K over at Kristen K DIY. So after you're done with this video, don't forget to head on over to hers, let her know I said hi. And now, without further ado, let's get started. So here are the 5 items I'm going to be working with today, and 4 of them are from Goodwill, and then the frame is from a friend out of her old shed, and so she knew I like to redo things. And so we have this basket that has some artificial flowers in it. It's really pretty crusty and dirty, but we're going to be getting rid of the plants. It was only $6, and I thought that was a really good buy, especially because this shape of the basket is just really interesting and pretty. I did throw out all of the greenery and the flowers though, because as pretty as they were, I don't think they were salvageable. And then we have this frame, and it's got a lot of little nooks and crannies and so much character. I really love it. And then we have this super heavy duty round tray, and it is plastic, but it's really thick, and it was only $1.99. So anytime you see tray, or anytime I see trays, I always pick them up. And then we have this super cute little paper plate holder, and it was only $1. And angels don't do dishes. This is true. And then I have no idea what this is, you guys. I thought it was super pretty. I was going to make it into a centerpiece of some sort. And actually, as I was showing you guys this, I saw the hole on the side and thought maybe it could be a paper towel holder, which is what I'm going to make it into. But it was only $3, and I just thought it was so pretty and interesting. If anyone knows what this is, would you please comment and let me know, because I would love to know what this is for. And if you just have a guess, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. But these are the things we're working with, and you're going to see completely different items once we're done. So the first thing you do anytime you do some thrifting and makeovers is to clean them up. And these were really grimy. They were also in my garage for a long time too, so they have a little extra dust on them. So on my paper plate holder, I needed to get the little angel off, and she did not want to come off. So finally I had to have Michael J get her off with the big power tools. And then I'm just cleaning everything up. And on the tray, because I'm going to be painting that with chalk paint, I'm going to use my sanding sponge and just give that a super good sanding so that my paint will adhere and I won't get any cracks. So once I got all of my items ready to go and cleaned up and wiped off, we took these outside, and Michael J was going to help me spray paint these, but it was so cold outside and there was so much moisture in the air. The paint was not cooperating and was beading up and dripping. It was a mess. And then what we did get painted ended up getting rained on because the rain started again. So these were not meant to be spray painted. The one good thing was that my paper towel holder thing, that did take the paint, and that would have been impossible to do with the chalk paint. So we're going to start with the frame, and the first thing I did was found a piece of hardboard out in the garage, and then I just measured my frame to see what size I needed, and then I had Michael J cut that down. And then I'm also going to measure this Dollar Tree sign, and I love this so much. I love these colors and pinks and teals. Oh, that has my heart. So I had him cut that one down as well to be the same height as our hardboard, which is going to fit inside of our frame. So then I'm going to take some white chalk paint, and I'm using my Annie Sloan paintbrush. I am always getting so many questions about this paintbrush, and so if you go online to anniesloan.com, you can look up to find a store in your local area that sells them, and they only allow one per, I think it's like 100 miles. You can't even buy them from anniesloan.com. And they do cost $40, but I'm telling you, I've had mine for like 4 years, and it was gifted to me by my friend Kathy, and it's on its last leg, but it's still doing a good job. So I'm just going to give my board one coat because I want some of that pretty brown to show through and look a little rustic. And then I'm going to paint my frame completely white. And then I'm going to put some stripes on my backboard, and I want it to go right through the middle of where it says Hello Spring. So I'm just going to use some painter's tape, and I'm going to make a large stripe in the middle and then two skinny ones on the sides. And I'm just going to eyeball those little ones. And I did measure for the middle one to make sure that it was equidistant all the way down. So now I'm going to take a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to dip a little bit in and start pouncing it on. And I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in Ballet Slipper and adding a little bit of white to it to make it this really pretty soft pink. And then after I pounce away and cover that whole area, I'm going to go back and kind of smooth it out so that it's nice and blended and all pretty. And the pouncing will keep any bleeds from happening too. And you guys know I love a good tape reveal, and this did not disappoint. I love seeing the results after I'm done painting. So as much as I love this Hello Spring sign, it did have a little bit of glitter on there, and a little bit of glitter is fine, but it had a little bit too much. So I just took this sweet little sanding block that I got from a sweet viewer, Bren, who sent me a little care package for crafters. And I'm just going to rub the letters really gently because it's made out of foam, but that took just enough off so that it wasn't just too sparkly, if there is such a thing. So now I'm going to take my sign and place it into my frame first. And I painted the sides of my sign so that the brown wasn't completely showing. And then I'm going to place my backboard on top of that. And then I'm going to use some heavy duty Duck brand duct tape. And I'm just going to close up my frame, and it's snug as a bug in a rug. So now I'm going to take some pretty Dollar Tree pink flowers in different shades, and I put the brighter ones towards the bottom, and I'm just going to fill up that bottom right corner and kind of make it fuller towards the middle and then kind of taper off towards the ends. And then once I get all of my flowers down, I'm going to take some pretty lamb's ear from Walmart and just take a couple of leaves and place them at the very ends, and then some in the middle, and then some throughout the flowers. And I like using the really small ones that are at the top of those stems and then just poking those in to give my flowers some extra color. So now I'm going to take some of these adorable little carrots from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap them with some cotton string. And I start at the very tippy top, and I'll have a little teeny piece hanging over, and then I'll put some hot glue on that tip and then just start twirling it around. And then every now and then I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and just make sure that it's all nice and tight. And then once I get to the top, I'll just put some more glue down and then make sure that string is nice and secure. So I didn't love the little raffia that was sticking out of the top of the carrots, so I decided to replace it with some of the greenery from these lavender stems from Walmart. And I just thought these were softer and looked a little bit longer so that they were more in proportion with my carrots. So then I took some string and attached one to each of my carrots, and then I'm going to figure out the placement and how I want them to hang so that they're kind of staggered and going down the left side of my sign. And then once I got it figured out, I'm going to gather up those strings and make a knot at the top so that they stay in that position. And then I'm going to take some pink and white gingham ribbon, and I'm just going to make a sweet little bow and let the tails be super long and flow down with my carrots. And I ended up adding another bow just to make it a little bit fuller. And here it is, all finished, and I love this so much. This just makes my heart so happy, my eyes too. I love pink already, but you add that teal and a truck full of roses. Oh my goodness, this has got to be one of my favorites. I love it so much. And I know people have frames somewhere, and if you don't have an old frame, you can find them at the Goodwill or yard sales, secondhand stores, anywhere. I think this turned out so pretty. I do want to bring your attention to the sweet little bunny that is sitting on the left hand side. This was a Perky prize, sadly not for me, but it was for my granddaughter Cadence, and this was sent to her by a dear viewer, Gretchen, and she sent some other Perky prizes too, which I will show you in another video. But I love how it turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. For today's thrift flips, I'm super excited to be teaming up with my beautiful and very talented friend Kristen K. If you aren't already subscribed to her channel, you will definitely want to go check her out. She is one of my dearest YouTube sisters and has been such a sweet supporter of this channel. We actually joke about how if I ever have a heart attack, I'm texting her before calling 911 because she'll text me back before I can even hit send. And she does it all. She loves Farmhouse, Trash to Treasures, hauls. She even has a lifestyle channel. Anyway, here's a sneak peek of her video. I know you'll just love her. And if you're coming from Kristen's channel, welcome and thank you so much for stopping by. So now for our next thrift flip. That's so hard to say. I know people don't really like to call them trash to treasures because they're not really trash. And then there's also the thrift to treasure. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to make over this basket. And originally I was just going to mask it off and spray paint it in 2 different colors. But the roping at the bottom and the top was a little bit too brittle and old. And you can see on my white work surface that when I was pulling it out, which I really contemplated before doing this, it was really just deteriorating right in front of me. So this one did get spray painted just before the rain started again, which this too would have been impossible with chalk paint. Well, they wouldn't have been impossible, but they would have been very time consuming, that's for sure. So I'm just going to take this nautical rope and I'm just going to start it with some hot glue to keep it in place, and then I'll just start weaving in and out. And I ended up using a total of 5 rolls of the rope. But it was so funny, when I was pulling my basket apart, our youngest daughter happened to walk by my craft room when I was doing that, and she thought I was building it. She thought I was weaving a basket, and she actually said, "Oh, you're a wicker maker now?" So when I run out of one roll of the rope, I'm just going to hot glue it down and hide those end pieces on the inside of my basket, and I think it turns out so pretty. So now I'm going to be using a Dollar Tree chalkboard tag to place on the front of my basket. And originally I had planned to put a scripture or something on here, but then for some reason I was feeling it on my heart that I needed to write "Just Breathe." And I don't know if that's for somebody else, and I'm sure a lot of us could use that message right now. But as I was writing it, I was being told that maybe I need to listen to that myself. I don't know if you guys know, but I had just put out a big mega video, 45 DIYs, and that was not an easy thing to do, I will tell you that. But I'm behind on this video. I was getting a little bit stressed out, and then I realized this was Jesus's message to me at that moment in time. I needed to just breathe. And so while I'm sure that's a message for somebody else as well, just remember that sometimes when we're giving good word or advice to somebody else, sometimes we need to listen to ourselves and take that same advice or good word for ourselves. So then to attach my tag to my basket, I'm just going to feed a piece through that little hole at the top, grab that loop and then send the other open ends through it. And then I'm going to make a sweet little bow out of another piece and then hot glue that to the top, kind of to cover up that little hole, but just to give it some more cuteness. And then I'll attach it to my basket by feeding those open pieces into that wicker and tying a knot on the back. And here it is all finished, and this is such a huge transformation, and I feel like it was the least amount of work that we did. It was a little time consuming becoming a new weaver in my career here, but I think it was so worth it, and it's so pretty, and touchy-feely goodness is all around it. I love how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. So now we're going to be working on our little paper plate holder, and I'm going to keep it as a paper plate holder because we really did need one, but I'm just going to paint the entire piece with my Waverly chalk paint in white. I had thought about leaving the wood grain showing, except it had some kind of mess ups in the coloration, and so it didn't look very pretty and was a little bit too yellow. So I ended up painting it completely white, and then I'm going to find the middle of my front area so that I can make some more of that flour sack stripe on the front of this. So since I couldn't figure out the measurement of what half would be of what I came out with, I'm using a measuring hack where I'm just taking my measuring tape and folding it in half. And then I'm going to take some more of my blue painter's tape and then just make those stripes, but this time I'm only going to have one skinny stripe on the ends. And then I'm going to take some black and white chalk paint and mix those together to make a really pretty gray. And then I ran out of my makeup sponges, so I'm going to be just using a regular paintbrush and just dabbing it on again. And I was always taught to take my tape up while my paint is still wet. I don't know who taught me that, but that's just the way. I think it was Bob Ross that taught me that, so I'm going to go with it. But after I take my tape all the way off, I'm going to use my black paint that I already have out, and I'm going to take a metal word that says welcome from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to paint that completely black. And you have to give this a couple of coats because it's that metal stuff, so you don't want any of that showing through. And then I'm going to take my sanding sponge and I'm just going to distress all of the edges on the entire piece, and that wood shows through and it's so pretty. I'll also go over the face of it on my paint so that it doesn't look so brand new and freshly painted. And then to attach my word, I'm going to mark where I need to put it so that when I put it back on, I'll know where it needs to go, because I'm really bad about getting things centered properly. But anyway, I'm just going to use some Gorilla Glue in the small little tube and then put it on the back of this pretty thinly so it doesn't seep out when I put it on. And then I'm going to take some of this faux leather ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and then using my Crocodile, I'm going to make a little hole at the end. And my Crocodile came with some eyelets, and I didn't even know this is also an eyelet setter. So once I fed my ribbon through the hole at the top of the handle, then I'm just going to use a black eyelet and put that in place and hold that together, and I think that's so cute. And here it is all finished, and so not only is this adorable and super farmhouse looking, it's also super functional, and we definitely needed one. And do you see that butcher block cutting board in the background, the big square one? Our son, who is now 32 years old, made that in wood shop when he was in high school. So that's super special. But I love how this turned out, and I hope you like it too. So now we're going to be working on our tray, and I was really excited to find these cauldrons because I remember years ago seeing Shannon at the Daily DIYer use these as feet for a tray or something. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I don't remember hers having those little side handles that these do. So if you can find them without that, that would be better. It's still super cutie patootie, but it'd be even cuter if it didn't have those. So anyway, I'm just going to use my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to paint my tray and 4 cauldrons, so those will be the feet, and I'm going to have them upside down so that what's the top of the cauldron will be the bottom, and it looks like it's a wood turn type of foot. And I thought that was really pretty. So I'm just going to use my Waverly wax in antique and give that a light brushing on all of my cauldrons so that it resembles wood. And if you kind of just drag your paintbrush through that and you're kind of wiping it off actually after you've painted it on, it really does give it the look of wood. So now I'm going to take a Dollar Tree calendar, and I couldn't make up my mind on which one I wanted to use. They were all so pretty. So I decided to go with the black so that the background didn't have to match the white, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to cut my calendar piece out, and then I'm going to take some black chalk paint and give my tray a little bit of distressing with a really dry brush, and that'll also pull in some more of the black. So now I'm going to take a sponge brush and I'll put a thin layer of Mod Podge onto my tray, and then I'll place my calendar, and then I go back in with a little brush to add it to the edges so that they don't curl up and they stay put. And then I'll add another layer on top. And I always get wrinkles whenever I'm using my Mod Podge, but a lot of them will come out as it dries. So embrace those wrinkles. Oh, see, I have to take my own advice. So now I'm going to attach my legs, and I just made a little crisscross using my painter's tape so that I could find the middle of each of my little pie sections, and my feet will be in the right position. So I'm using some multi-purpose cement as well as some hot glue, and I'll attach those to the bottom. And then I'm going to take some more of that faux leather ribbon and just cut 2 pieces, and then I'll attach those as handles, even though they're just for looks. And then I'll take a little puffy dot and place those like rivets or brads or something, and it'll be all done. And here's how it turned out, and I think this is so pretty, and it's perfect for my coffee table. I love these colors. It's so farmhouse looking and rustic, and it looks high dollar to me, as long as you don't look at the little side handles on our cauldrons. But I love how it turned out, and I hope you like it too. So for our last project, I'm going to be working on our paper towel holder, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that same wood effect using my Waverly wax in antique. And this was actually pretty easy as well, and the hardest part was finding something that would work for that little circle holder on the other side of this. So I finally did find something, and it's so cute. I love how it turns out. But I'm just going to go around all of the edges and the trim work using that wax, and then making it look like it's all wood. And then I'm just going to take a galvanized bucket from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint that completely white. And I went ahead and painted the inside too. And then I'm going to take some of the adhesive poster letters, and I'm just going to spell out the word fresh and attach that to the front of my bucket, plop a plant in it and my paper towels, and it is done. And here it is, all finished, and I love this so much. I have never been a fan of having paper towels out on the countertops, but this is a whole new ball game. I looked online and could not find what this was, so if you guys know, please let me know. I don't see how it could have been anything but a paper towel holder. But I love how it turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and if you did, don't forget to give them a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. I'll have KRISTIN'S video linked in the description box below, so head on over there now. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and remember to always be the light. Bye!